The stakes have never been higher. The competition has never been stronger. 35 drivers, 20 rounds. One will be crowned champion. Competition, commitment, excitement. This is Lionheart. You're watching the premier American open wheel series on iRacing. The Lionheart IndyCar Series presented by Fisch Medical Equipment starts now.
We're all gamers, and HyperX is always ready to game. Competition, commitment, excitement. This is Lionheart. We've got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses. The iconic words of Elwood Blues. From behind the wheel of his 1974 Dodge Monocle sedan, and with his brother Jake by his side, it was 106 miles to Chicago. But that's not the case for us. We have arrived from Chicagoland Speedway. Hit it. This is the Global SimRacing Channel's Round 13 coverage of the Lionheart IndyCar Series Season 8 Championship presented by Fisch Medical Equipment. The Lionhearters are into the dog days of the schedule. 12 down, 8 to go. When wandering concentration and overconfidence can lead to a sudden cold slap of reality. Many drivers have cashed in their drop insurance and now race without a net. If off track on a road course, well, that's a tiptoe through the tulips. But an off track on this oval is a flying Carl Wallinda pavement splat. There is no shortage of drama, no shortage of tension, with exuberance and heartbreak in the balance. Enough hype. Let's get ready to roll. This is the Windy City, but today it's not about the wind. It's about the win. It's time for the Fisch Motors 200 at Chicagoland Speedway and all the simulated Dallara IR18 action from green flag to victory donuts streams your way live as it happens right here on the iRacing Esports Network. Peace, good health, and welcome to the Sim Experience Countdown to Green. Over these 15 minutes, GSRC will bring you all the storylines, all the stats and facts you'll need to appreciate the Fisch Motors 200 at Chicagoland Speedway. Former real-world IndyCar driver Richie Hearn joins yours truly, Bill Soupzon, to bring you our Word's Eye view. Sean Ambrose has director duties, armed with cameras provided by Dougie Beard. There have been 5 previous winners in this series at Chicagoland, but Big Joe Hassard is the only active driver to do so. If leading laps is an indication of future success, keep an eye on Jake Wright, as his 100 revolutions out front is topped by no one. Now, schedule makers bypassed this place for seasons 6 and 7, so since it's been a while, let's take a look at Chicagoland.
Welcome to Chicagoland Speedway in Joliet, Illinois. Born out of the track boom of the 90s and early 2000s. Beginning racing in July 2001, not much has changed around Chicagoland, with the exception of lights being added in 2008. She still has the original surface around this 1.5-mile oval, making the track surface harsh from those Midwest winters. That means you really have to manage the tire wear over the course of a race. Chicagoland stands out from the other tracks created around its time period. Yes, it is 1.5 miles and D-shaped, but the shape of the track means it's never truly straight. When you come off the 18-degree bank turns 1 and 2 and onto the backstretch, the first thing you're going to notice is that it's curved. And when you roll into turn 3 and come off turn 4, it feels like you almost immediately dive into the tri-oval. It's an interesting drive for sure. And that interesting drive has produced some incredible races over the years, especially in IndyCar. The old Dallara IndyCar 0305 that you can find on iRacing was a particularly racy machine here, with 3 of the top 5 closest IndyCar finishes, including the closest, coming right here at Chicagoland. NASCAR has been here from the start, though, with all 3 National Series making at least 1 trip a year here, and the Grand National cars making 2. ARCA has also been here from the beginning. A series that you may not associate with Chicagoland, USAC Silver Crown. Yes, the ones you can find here on iRacing made stops here in the mid-2000s. So with that, let's get ready to turn loose in the Windy City.
Look at Chicagoland. And now in another pinch myself moment, I can't believe I get the privilege of doing this with this guy next to me. Let me reintroduce my booth mate, Richie Hearn, to talk a little bit about this track.
Yeah, Chicagoland. What a great city, Chicago. This track's great. I had the pole here in 2001. Really, it's a great racetrack, as you can see on those demo laps we just showed you. But really, the key is to be able to hold that white line all the way around the track. You're not going to be able to do that as the tires heat up and wear out a little bit, and it's very racy. You got 3 grooves here, and it's pretty simple. It's tri-oval, pretty basic design. Tri-oval in the center, straight on the back, and we should see a good race here. I'm expecting 3 grooves and a close finish. Now let me let you remember, the countdown to green is brought to you by SimExperience AccuForce steering systems. With the most advanced tuning features on the market, the AccuForce Direct Drive is second only to the real thing. To check out the entire SimExperience line of products, head on over to simexperience.com.
Good idea. Lots of great equipment to look at here on the from the sponsors here in the Lionheart Series. Let's take a look at the points right now. We're going ahead and remember that the hounds are after the hare here, and one misstep from Sage Karam, and the chefs are going to be cooking up the Hassenpfeffer. Now, these points take into account the 3 drop races around 4 in the rules. And with Karam already missing 3 events, there is no room for error from the real-world IndyCar driver. 2-time and defending champion Adam Blocker, he wasn't expected to make a full season assault on a 3rd crown, but circumstance has allowed him to do so. He picked up his only win this season at Phoenix. Coming off the first win of the season at Iowa, Andrew Kinsella sits 3rd, just 3 back of Blocker. Despite 3 wins, Connor Harrington sits in 4th, but still close to Blocker and Kinsella. More winners at the top, as rookie Sonoma winner Josh Chin sits in 5th. Kentucky winner Chris Stouffer hides in 14th. The only winner not to make the graphic is Mike Rigney. Let's go ahead and look at the team championships now. Of course, those drivers' championships were brought to you by the good folks at First Medical Equipment. The team champions come your way thanks to everybody at HyperX. Let's go ahead and look at this now. Really, it's a 3-team race up front. You look at Harrington, Larkamp, Lewis, Branch, Carey, Kinsella, Chin, Kara, Martinez. Those are all 1st or 2nd-tier drivers. Hard to imagine that any of the other teams, starting with 8 Ball Motorsports, are going to be able to get up into a podium position. Really a 3-team battle. But it will be exciting to see how the best of the rest plays out. There is one more battle to look at, and that's the exciting rookie battle, which has really been great this season. Richie, what do you got?
Yeah, we have the Rookie of the Series Championship presented by Butt Kicker. No changes in the positioning from the last race, but you can see it's pretty tight between Chin and Lewis. Frazier's a little bit back there in 3rd place, 92 points back, but that can change pretty quickly. But really, it's a matter of just holding tight, getting those good finishes. Since the drops have been put in, nobody can afford to lose a position. And just to note that Chin is 5th overall in the championship. Nathan Lewis is 7th overall. So these guys are also fighting for that overall win. But it's going to come down to between Chin and Lewis, I believe, as we get closer to the end.
It really has been fun to watch those 2 guys battle it out. The Lionheart Racing Series is powered by HyperX, is the premier open-wheeled racing league on iRacing. It oversees 2 great series, the Lionheart Retro Series, presented by DMLC Racing Channel, and the featured series tonight, which is the Lionheart IndyCar Series, presented by First Medical Equipment. Both series honor the memory of the late Dan Weldon. GSRC is always picking up new viewers, so with those in mind, and since we haven't been to Chicago in a while, Richie, how about some details?
Yeah, here we go. And these event details comes to us thanks to Minus 273, the premier name in karting gloves. I have a pair myself. Their industry-leading gloves are super lightweight and durable, made of breathable poly spandex. Whether you're a kart or sim racer, Minus 273 gives you the control to reach victory lane. For more information on Minus 273's full line of gloves and apparel, visit minus273.biz. Don't forget to use the Minus 273 LHRS 15 for 15% off all your orders. And the event details, we're working season 8 of the Lionheart IndyCar Series, round 13 of 20. 3 driver drops available, which have been calculated already into the standings. We're working using the Dallara IR18. The setups are fixed, but they have been adjusted to make them a little bit more raceable, and always cash and prizes, $10,721.
Ooh, that's a nice piece of change there for cash and prizes. Let's go ahead and look at the weather. You know, they call Chicago the Windy City. It's a little bit of a misnomer. People believe that it's because of the wind. It's actually called the Windy City because of the wind created by the airbag politicians there. This is a true fact. This is not a sufism. That's why it's called the Windy City. Richie, how does the weather look for racing?
The weather looks really good. We got 73 air temp, but really the biggest thing that these guys worry about is the track temp, and that's 96 degrees. That's right in the operating window of these tires, so that should be good. The wind is only 2 miles an hour, so that's not going to be affected, and really it should be a good race for today. You know, not too much track temp, and it's going to make these cars real raceable. Going to have a close finish, I believe.
28 drivers so far have put in qualifying times. Let me correct myself as things keep updating. It's now 30. Pretty big field here today as we have, I think, looks like about 40 names down here. So it's going to be a large field on this track.
Yeah, right now Connor Harrington is sitting on top with the 25-134. It's going to be a close field, so 25-1 for the pole at the moment. 25-2 is 18th, so it's going to be a tough field. But the draft is going to play a big part in this, so I don't think qualifying is that important. The only thing that helps if you're starting up front is if you're not caught up in any wrecks that happen in the midfield.
Most yellow flags here has been 8 in the history of Lionheart. They have gone a complete race under green, but that was just when they were doing splits, so it's basically a half race. But if things play out right, we could get ourselves a lot of green flag runs and maybe see ourselves some green flag pit stops, which always shake things up. Boy, that's a familiar look, that Dodger blue and black car of Adam Blocker. And now we look at Samuel Ryman. Good to see Sammy back.
Yeah, Sammy putting a time in there, sitting in 17th. That's a good time for him. You mentioned Adam Blocker, defending series champion, sitting in 3rd. Always does a good job in qualifying and gets himself up front really quickly. It looks like qualifying is over.
And so with qualifying being done, let's go to the grid right now and we'll get that out of the way. We'll take them 2 at a time. You know, Richie Hearn may have sat on the pole, but for Connor Harrington, I got good news, bad news. Good news, you're on the pole. Bad news is no pole sitter has ever won here. Connor Harrington on pole, Michael Goodman flanking him.
Yeah, great job for Michael Goodman. Next to him will be, or right behind him will be Adam Blocker and Brian Yazik in row 2.
Season winner Mike Rigney is going to be flanked by Joe Branch.
Behind them will be Joe Hasser and Tony Schowen.
Tyler Graff and Brandon Limkeman go 9 and 10.
Jake Wright coming back to the series after a few years off, starting 11th, and right next to him will be Chris Stouffer in 12th.
Takers of the spot for Jason Galvin, Chris Lanini in 14th.
Stephen Larkamp in 15th and Ken Hacker in 16th.
17 and 18 go to Samuel Ryman and rookie Nathan Lewis.
Right behind them will be Dustin Wardlow and Brian Greenlee.
Hitting blackjack is Andrew Kinsella in the double duck spot, Ron Hacker.
Row behind them will be Bart Workman in 23rd and Mark Cohn in 24th.
Jay Brandt and George Enzaldo make up the next row.
Next row behind them will be Adam Frazier and Scotty Johnson.
Sitting in 29th, Damon Martinez. He's inside of top rookie Joshua Chin.
Real surprised about this. Sage Karam sitting in 31st, although he'll get right to the front. We always know that. And next to him will be James Krahula in 32nd.
Last driver to put in qualifying time, Brandon Carey. Mike Razaman, a new driver, sitting outside of him in 34th.
Yep, I'll just read off the last. 35th will be Justin Weaver, Scott Holmes in 36th, Matt Taylor in 37th, Aaron Morgan. This is his first race in, he just got promoted to the IndyCar Series. He didn't put in a lap time. He's going to take it easy, sitting in 38th, and Chris Fowler in 39th.
Keep your eyes on the road and your hands upon the wheel. Let them roll, baby, roll. We got 4 onboard cameras today. Let's start with car number 21, Ron Hacker, with the Fisch Motors onboard camera. For $20,000, you can get a 2017 Ford Escape SE in shadow black and a Subway footlong. Located in Walnut, Illinois, family owned since 1983. How about the 26th Tyler Graff with the butt kicker onboard camera? Feel what you've been missing. Use promo code LION2020 at thebuttkicker.com. RBS 00 of Mike Rigney, Rigby Building Services. If you need building services, RBS never misses. Oh, that's cute. HyperX, that's Sage Karam. He's the number 2. Whatever you play, however you play, HyperX knows we're all gamers. Use promo code Lionheart15 at HyperXGaming.com. We got all the business out of the way. We're going to get our GSRC's commentator bonus for doing that. And now we can turn our attention to Connor Harrington. Come out of corner number 4. Pace car ready to duck in. We're all gamers, and HyperX is always ready to game. Competition, commitment, excitement. This is Lionheart. Harrington with a great jump as he leads the field down into the first corner. Blocker is able to sneak in the second inside of Goodman. Yazik and Branch round out your top 5.
Adam Blocker got a great start. He's got right on the back of the leader there, Connor Harrington. He's going to go to the outside. But right now, like I said earlier, you got to hug that white line. That's the shortest distance around the track. With those tires fresh, that's going to be the fastest way around. Michael Goodman pulls right to the inside of Adam Blocker, takes that position back. And they're going 2 by 2 by 2 all the way down to about row 5 behind Connor Harrington, taking the lead.
Boy, they are not wasting any time mixing it up. Joe Hassard making his 151st start today, sits in 6th position, challenging the car on the inside, Joe Branch. A couple of veterans going at it. Tony Shallen, Mike Rigney back there in 8th. Stouffer rounding out your top 10 on the top side is Graff, with former champion Jake Wright looking to crack into the top 10.
Yeah, we got a pretty long race. You can see Connor Harrington just never getting off that white line at the bottom. And he's going to be able to hold that position as they come across for lap 3, take that lead once again. We got a battle up here right in second place between Brian Yazik and Adam Blocker. Brian Yazik's trying to go around the outside. I don't think that's going to happen just yet. He's going to work that outside line. Nobody's going down to the inside with Connor Harrington, but that's going to be the preferred line, I believe.
Richie, if it's hard for these guys to pass right now when the tires are fresh, I had to figure it's going to be, we got problems.
We got problems going in the infield. No yellow flag
Landon
yet.
Lipkman got turned around. He got together with Jake Wright. They both spun off into the Chicago Alfalfa. And we're going to stay under green. And when you look at this, it looks like Lipkman just kind of comes down right to the white car. Lipkman's in the kind of fruity colored car. How about covering my faces there?
Yeah, it looks like Brandon just comes right down. He didn't know he was there. Spotter's not going to be able to catch that fast. They're able to keep going. No yellow flag, unfortunately for them. Fortunately for everybody else. But that's going to put him back in the field.
Just to cover my bases there for all the people who are politically correct out there, I honestly meant fruity colored, as in berry colored, because I wasn't sure what color it was. I was making no presumptions to the, well, let's stop there before I dig my hole any better. Pass for the lead, getting to the inside. Brian Yazik, he gets it done. Boy, talk about leaving a crack in the door was Connor Harrington.
Yeah, Connor Harrington leave the door open just a little bit. Brian Yazik's going to take it If I was Brian Yazek, I would never leave that white line until his tires won't let him. But he's going to be able to take the lead. Connor Harrington sitting in second. Adam Blocker just kind of hovering around in third. Early days in this race, it's just about keeping clean, kind of seeing what you got, and let's get to that first round of pit stops before we mix it all up.
You're looking for a hard charger. How about fourth position? Chris Stouffer up 8 spots to be racing right behind Blocker right now. We've been doing this a while. We better check in as we're right on board with Chris Stouffer.
Yeah, good job for him. He just obviously hugged that white line all the way up the fourth. Oh no, what we got?
We got to spin. Let's go to Nathan Lewis. I think it was Sage Karam. I don't want to say. I believe it was the Wicks car. Lewis and Karam got together. Karam ends up in the wall. Lewis does a 360. I think his car might be okay. A little dispute over asphalt.
Yeah, we do
and
have
ownership
a yellow
of
on the
it.
track. Yeah, it looks like, looks like Sage just drifted up a little too high and clipped the back of that car. And, you know, we talked about the point standing. He has no points to give as far as drops go. This is going to really hurt him. And that's what happens when you qualify 31st. You know, sometimes it's okay, but you got to really be careful, and it's really going to hurt him in his championship. And there he is in the pits.
A driver who seems, as we look at Karam, a driver who seems to be able to do it is Adam Blocker, because he seems, when he qualifies bad or he's put back in the mix, as we see a lot of drivers coming in for a pit stop. My goodness, coming in on lap 10. It must be all about tires here, yeah. Blocker is able to just really take his time, knowing that the race is long. And when we say everybody, we mean, no, boy, everybody, right? Did anybody stay out? I don't see anyone staying out.
It looks like I see a couple of people in the back stepping out. I think it's more about fuel mileage than tires. You know, it's you know, we just did the retro race last week, and it went green. We had one yellow and then went green the whole way, and the people that didn't pit got screwed, and the people that did, like me, ended up getting fourth. So I think these guys are taking advantage of that to get some fuel, and we'll go from there. I don't think the tires are wearing out that far. But to go back to what you were saying, you know, Sage is a very aggressive driver, and you know, just looked like a little mistake, but it's going to cost him in the points. And Adam Blocker is very, very patient early on, and it pays out in the end. That's why he's 2-time defending series champion.
Let's put our attention on car number 63, because he is an attention hog, and I'm talking about Samuel Ryman. Always looking to get a little of the screen time is Ryman. Now the question is he doing this just for attention, or is he going to stay out there and race a little bit? Let's see what Sammy does as he comes around corner number 4. He's got some friends. Matt Taylor. Now Taylor's going to come in. There's the brave guy. There's the guy with a heart of gold and a lot of courage. We're talking about George Anzaldo. Can we put the camera on car number 6, because I believe he is our spotlighted driver today. So what better way to get it when our spotlighted driver is out in front, making his, 148th career start tonight. That is second all time. Boy, you look at that 1 point. There's one win in there. When you got 148 starts and you got to win, that win's really important. Right, Richie? You're a man who can relate to that. A lot of races and that win. Boy, that makes your career a lot nicer, huh?
Yeah, I have a lot of races in this series, in the retro series. I have no wins, so I'm still looking for that. So George Anzaldo does a great job with this series, and he's very competitive, but he's very fair, and it's good to see him up front and get a little TV time.
All right, so what's going to happen is he's the only guy who stays out. He's got Harrington, Yazek, Blocker behind him, Stouffer, basically those drivers in second, third, fourth, fifth, pretty much in the same order they were when they came in, although they were in first, second, third, and fourth. George Anzaldo out there. Well, let's see what 12-lap-old tires feel like. The tires are old, but the air is clean. Here we go. Pace car ducking in, round number 13 here. Gather up the chicken steak, cover me on the cows, because the horses are out of the barn, and it is George Anzaldo, the veteran, leading the field down into corner number 1, working lap number 13. Hang on, George. Harrington, Yazek, Blocker, and Stouffer chasing.
Yeah, I believe George, his tires are still good. If he just hooks that white line, he's going to lead a bunch of laps. If he can get a yellow, it's going to work out for him, but he's left the door open right there. And there they go, right underneath him. He's going to give that position up to Connor Harrington and Brian Yozik, Adam Blocker. So, he's just up there getting some space. But he probably should have held that white line as he started that race.
Maybe he just wants to tuck in now behind Stouffer. He sure did leave the door open, and they blew by him. We got another one. This one, we can't find it. We'll see if we can hunt it down. Brian Greenlee is making a stop, so maybe it's him. We'll see if I can back up. We'll see what happened to Greenlee. Now, Greenlee had issues in pit lane when he came in. We're still looking for this one, folks. Our director can't find it, and I can't find it either. Sometimes if you're the driver and you had a problem, and we catch you, and we embarrass you this time, you're going to get away with it. We can quickly name some drivers that aren't in the race. Sage Karam has left. Brian Greenlee, who I believe had an issue on pit road. That's why he's not there. Chris Fowler is a lap down, but he's out there. So there's only 2 drivers that are missing.
Yeah, I don't know why that yellow happened, but something obviously happened to trigger that. Got Connor Harrington back up front where he started. Brian Yozik sitting in second, started fourth. Adam Blocker just hanging tight in third. Let's give we give a shout out earlier to Christopher from 12th to 4th, and George Ansaldo from 26th to 5th, hanging in there. Obviously, he didn't pit. And we'll just kind of re-rack them and get going.
George Ansaldo, a believer of live by the sword, die by the sword, as he does not take the opportunity to come in. He likes the bed he has made. He's going to lay in it. Boy, I'm really hitting the cliches, aren't I? As he races in 5th, refusing to come in and pit. You heard Richie talk about your hard chargers. Let's look at car number 3, racing in 14th position. This is Damon Martinez. Started in 29th. He has cut that in more than half. And his familiar Gut Slappers car.
Yeah, it's going to be a long race. We have, I believe it's 134 laps. So
let's actually...
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's bring up the analysis and look at it. Richie's telling you 134. Didn't mean to jump on you there, Richie. And 40 laps is what they say you can do.
40 laps plus some yellow flags, so we probably go about 50 laps here. I'm not doing any math yet. It's too early for that. But we got a long ways to go. Some of these guys sit in the back, like Kinsella, Lewis, they're just kind of hanging tight, keeping it clean. We'll just let it sort itself out.
So we've had 2 yellow flags. The one that brought out by Sage Karam, and then the other mystery yellow flag. Don't fear, though. A lot of times we get these out of the way early, and then we can go green for long runs.
This track is very raceable, so there's no reason why we can't have a long green flag run. You just got to keep it clean, and there's about 2 or 3 grooves you can run here. So I expect to see a long green flag run coming up next. I'm going to predict that.
Richie, I know it was a long time since you raced here in real life, but how able are you to recall individual races? Do they all blend together, or are you pretty good at just like going through and picking out? I remember when I was Chicagoland.
Yeah, I mean, I had a good race there. I started on pole, and I led all the way up to the first pit stop. I just hugged that white line. Unfortunately, the pit stop didn't go well. I think I finished 12th overall. But, some races, yeah, you're right. Sometimes you can kind of visualize everything, and sometimes there's just a blur. Sometimes you want to forget. That race, I started on pole, had a good race. I want to remember. And this is a great track. I think IndyCar would have a good race here if they raced here now.
Was that in the infamous Budweiser machine?
That was not. I ran for in the Menards machine. I took over for one race for Ayrton Dare, who was injured at the time.
Oh.
And had a good race, though.
I guess the good thing about not racing for Budweiser is they didn't put you out on the mound at Major League Stadium. So we talked about that. You had that opportunity and you bounced it, didn't you?
I did once, and one time I did it good. So just note, if you guys ever get a chance to throw the first pitch out, practice. That's my pro tip of the day.
All right, we're going to go green here for what will be the fourth time. First start of the race and then 2 restarts. So time number 4. Pace car is going to pull it in there. The beautiful Medina Mendez behind the wheel. Good to see her back with us. Connor Harrington out in front, sitting 4th in the points. Would like to pick up a few spots as he can. Gets a good jump, and with Sage Karam having a bad race, there is an opportunity for all these drivers up front to move up in the standings. Harrington ahead of Yazik. Blocker also in the points. Chris Stouffer back in 4th on the track.
Yeah, I like to really see Brian Yazik have a good finish. He's run strong this year, but have had some bad luck. He's sitting in 2nd place, right behind Connor Harrington. Connor Harrington's hugging that white line. Brian Yazik's going to take a chance to go around the outside with Adam Blocker right behind him. And right behind them is Chris Stouffer. He's going to look to the inside now. He's going to fade to the outside, back to the inside. Right now, I think that inside line is where you want to be. It's going to be tough to make that pass around the outside until we get a little farther into this run.
The driver to watch is Ansaldo back in 5th. Now, he's racing up top. He's leaving the bottom open for guys to come by on fresher rubber, but he's also in the draft. If you're thinking about what George is doing, really, he only has to hang up here for a little while longer. If there's another yellow flag, let's say in 10 or 15 laps, everyone's going to come in for tires again. So this may work out for George.
No, you're right. Sometimes when you start that far back, the only way you get up to the front is to go off sequence, and you start at 26th, sitting in 5th. If we get a yellow flag pretty early on, everybody's going to come back in. They'll come in with them and come back out with them. So it's not a bad strategy. He's just kind of, I think if you want to just maybe hug the inside line a little bit, it's kind of leaving that door open and just fading back a little bit at a time.
Let's drop back in the back. I want to look at car number 3. He's our hard charger, Damon Martinez. Now racing in 13th, working on the back of Mike Rigney. Rigney coming off, had a win earlier this season at Pocono. Man, that must have felt good. But on the outside now, that is Ken Hacker, one of the Hacker guys, making a move as he goes around Martinez. Good racing going on back here. The leader of this pack, Tyler Graff, up in 9th.
Up front, still Connor Harrington hugging that white line. You got a whole group of cars trying to go around the outside. Nobody's dropping into behind them, but here comes Michael Goodman. He's going to go to the inside. Honestly, if it was me right now, I would just sit behind Connor Harrington, save some fuel. Don't worry about getting the lead. Brian Yazik wants that lead. He keeps poking to the outside. Adam Blocker's leaning on the inside. He's going to go back to the outside with Brian Yazik. They're going to try to make a push here, but Connor Harrington, as short as he's around the track, is right along that bottom, and he's able to hold on to it.
Any difference, Richie, in tire wear having to run that roll line, or really not so much?
You know, this track's not really heavy on tire wear, but I mean, it'll play a part a little bit later on. As you can see, Connor Harrington kind of drifting up to the middle. We're pretty early on in this run with a bunch of yellow flags, so that bottom line is where you want to be. But I know being in Brian Yazik's position, you can't help it, but try to take that position away. You get the draft, you get a little push, but I think it's early on in the days before we see that bottom line kind of become a hindrance.
You look over the wing of our leader, and you can see that they're pretty much racing for positions about to 20th position. Then once you get back then you got a lot of guys that are kind of single file just putting in the miles right now. But up front in the top 20, it is still very competitive, and no more so than what Brian Yazik is trying to do. As you can see him working the outside.
Yeah, he keeps dipping into the draft on the straightaway, dipping to the outside. Connor Harrington there he goes. He opens the door, and here comes Brian Yazik, just like before. He's going to take that spot and put that guy in the lead. Brian Yazik is the leader with Connor Harrington sitting second.
I don't think that was done for fuel saving. That's the second time we've seen Harrington leave that bottom open.
Yeah, I think he just kind of drifted up a little bit. Maybe just wasn't expecting him to go to the bottom. I would be trying to save some fuel. Look at Adam Blocker back there trying to save some fuel. He's not pushing the issue too much. We got Michael Goodman looking to the inside of Chris Stover. Chris Stover doing a great job hanging on to that 4th spot, starting 12. He's in a really good position.
Watch the racing up front. Keep an eye on the tower that you see on screen left there, and Zaldo hanging in on 6th position. He's the only guy that took the gamble. So far, it's worked out. Now, he is going to need a yellow flag. If he doesn't get a yellow, then he's going to have to pit under green, and he puts himself in real jeopardy of going several laps down if the yellows don't fall right. Let's look at Anzaldo right now. Because Joe Hassard, how about some veterans? Joe Hassard, 151 races under his belt. George Anzaldo, 148 under his belt. There's a lot of inches under that belt right there. Those guys race side by side. Hassard gets the position.
Yeah, Brian Yosek pulled onto that bottom line with Connor Harrington now trying to go on the outside. He's doing the exact opposite of what was happening earlier. Brian Yosek's not giving him that door to go through. Adam Blocker, he's the guy to watch. I think he's playing it smart. He's just kind of just tiptoeing around, staying in the draft. And Christopher as well. These guys, in the draft, you can lift a lot, save a lot of fuel. If we go a long green flag run, that's going to play a big part as we get closer to the end.
Brian Yosek out in front. Really haven't seen a lot of Brian racing out front much this season. Good to see him back. Got that 55 out there.
Yeah, he's had some good races, but he's had some bad luck too. So we've seen him up in the top 10 a lot, but it's just never worked out at the end. So it's good to see him up front leading some laps.
They seem to be pretty behaved up front, so we're going to leave you for a second. Go to car number 42, the Bakersfield boy, Jason Galvin, racing in 8th position. Just ahead of him, our top rookie, Joshua Chin. Again, gotta love that purple paint scheme of Chin. That's worth a couple positions right there as he works underneath Galvin as they fight for 8th position. Watch him from the popcorn position, Tony Shallen. Give that shot, give that position now to Chin as he works his way up into 8th. You want a hard charger? How about 30th to 8th?
Yeah, Josh Chin, great job. Bad qualifying, a great start. You can see as soon as Jason Galvin opened that door, he took it and drove right to the inside. Now he's in the draft of Joe Hassert and Joshua Chin looking to move up. He's in the battle with the Rookie of the Year championship. He's also sitting 5th in the points. And with Sage carrying out, this is a good opportunity for some of these guys.
Right on board with the rookie. I think he's going to make quick work here of Hassard and Anzaldo. I think he's maybe making an assumption there, but I really like the way Josh has come through the field. And once he gets to those guys, then he's pretty much in the lead pack. He's up there with them all.
Yeah, Brian Yosek sitting in the lead, holding to the inside line. But you can see he's starting to wander up the track a little bit. Connor Harrington is looking to take that position back. I think as soon as Brian Yosek wanders up, although Connor Harrington's going to try to go to the outside. We haven't seen an outside pass yet. It's all about the inside line. And Brian Yosek hugs that white line, but he does have to drift up a little bit as he comes off the corner. That's how he got that lead to begin with from Connor Harrington. And here comes Adam Blocker looking to the inside of Connor Harrington.
I can let you know that Chris Fowler was at the back of the field. He was about to be lapped by the leader. So right before they got to him, he pulled him down on the pit lane. Chris Fowler, a newcomer to the series. I assume not the same Chris Fowler that is an ESPN commentator, but you never know.
I think the guy to watch is Adam Blocker. He has looked like he's been able to take that position, but he's kind of backed off, and I think he's happy to just kind of sit in the draft, save some fuel. Christopher doing a good job kind of learning from Adam Blocker and just sitting there taking some lessons and just saving some fuel. And I have a feeling we're going to go a long green flag run here, and that's going to play a big part in this race as we sort everybody out single file pretty much all the way through the field.
Well, Adam Blocker would have a successful doctor's practice as he has plenty of patience. We've talked about what he can do when he's in the back of the field, and right now he's just sitting up there taking his time. What we call the popcorn position, watching the show in front of him. Fred take a look at Ron Hacker. He's one of our onboard cameras. Ken Hacker's doing really well, but here's this race sponsor, Fisch Motors. I told you what you can get. $19,995. Pick up that new, well, actually, it's a used car. You have enough left over for a Subway sandwich. A foot-long Subway. But we have the pass being made. Good racing going on.
Yeah, these guys are racing pretty hard back here with 28th, 29th, and 30th, and so far, these, Scotty Johnson sitting in 27th, but Chris Lanini in 28th. He's got about 4 hungry guys behind him, and one of them is Ron Hacker. And these guys are spread out a little bit, and they're looking to get some positions before we get to this next round of pitch stops. We're working lap 42, 40 laps into green, 10 laps for yellow. That's not too far away.
I'll tell you right now, George Anzaldo thinking about ribbons around old oak trees, rivers in China, and roses in Texas, because he needs a yellow. He's getting very close to the end of his stint. He's out there for 42 laps. Yes, now some of them have been under yellow, but he's about to run out of petrol. Making a move underneath him is Joe Hazard, and remember, we talked about Joshua Chin trying to follow Big Joe through, and he gets it as well. Hazard's going to fall a couple spots back, down into 8th. Still okay if he can get a yellow pretty soon.
Yeah, Anzaldo hanging tight on the outside around Joshua Chin, sitting in 7th. And if I was George, I'd probably back off. He's got a little gap behind him and save some fuel, because he definitely needs a gap to save some fuel, hopefully for yellow. I don't see yellow coming anytime soon, so he's going to be in a little bit of trouble. Up front is Brian Yazik holding off Connor Harrington, still trying to go around the outside. Brian's not giving him that inside. Adam Blocker and Christopher have fallen off just a tiny bit, but they're just playing the waiting game, I think, at this moment.
Can we bring up the track temperature again? I'm looking at the clouds, and boy, it is really overcast out there. Sure enough, wasn't it 98 when we started? Track temperature down to 92 degrees Fahrenheit. So even though we got all those cars out there putting in the laps, track temperature coming down thanks to the weather.
Yeah, I don't think tires are going to be a problem in this race unless it all of a sudden skyrockets. I think it's going to be all about fuel mileage and strategy. I see this race going green for a while, and it's going to play a big part.
Cinderella has a curfew, as George Anzaldo did finally have to make that pit stop. You talked about tire wear, though. Look what Anzaldo was able to do. Now, I don't want to downplay his talent, but he qualified well down the field. But nevertheless, he was able to run in 6th, 7th position the whole time, Richie, on older rubber. So, yeah, track position, really important.
Yeah, I think once he found his spot, about 6th or 7th spot, he's able to hang in there pretty tight. And that's going to be open the eyes for some of these other guys.
Now, a lot of drivers are beginning to bite the bullet. We're looking at Hazard and Chin going at it.
Yeah, Chin down below. You got to take that shortest distance around. Hazard holding tight on the outside. Chin trying to get up there. He's done a great job, though. 30th to 7th. Don't risk too much at this point. Let it shake out. He's right up there in the top 10, looking for a top 5. Oh, we got a couple guys crashing.
Oh, and it looks like Christopher. This happened up front.
Christopher and Michael Goodman are flipping down the backstretch. This is the yellow flag that George Anzaldo was looking for, but he'll be good to go. Let's try to get a replay and see what happened.
Stouffer just looks like he drifted. No, I'm sorry, that's not Stouffer. It was Goodman who drifted up into Stouffer. Stouffer's on the outside, Goodman on the inside. They both go for some Olga Corbett bouncing.
Yeah, it looks kind of like the same incident with Sage Karam. Christopher got a late run to the outside, and Michael Goodman probably didn't know he was there and drifted up, and they just kind of connected, and there we go.
I don't think that's going to play out for Anzaldo. I think he came in and lost the laps. We'll see what happens. Well, he sure could have used that a little bit early. Here they come. We expect everybody. Maybe Samuel Ryman might stay out to get a little screen time.
Yeah, George Lozano is a lap down, so he'll be able to get his lap back. On this, hopefully he'll stay out, and it'll kind of cycle back to where we were. But very good yellow flag for the lead pack, but not so much for George.
Yazik looks like he's going to get first out in front of Harrington. Blocker behind him. Joe Hazard now is going to scoot up into what we're going to call running fourth position. Not sure who stayed out. Showen, Galvin, and Chin. And as they cycle out and they do a little housekeeping to get them all in order, let's take a break. Don't go far. We'll be back. You're watching the Global SimRacing Channel, streaming your way on the iRacing Esports Network. Welcome back to the iRacing Esport Network and GSRC's coverage of the Fisch Motors 200 at Chicagoland Speedway. So we were under yellow flag there, and 4 drivers decided to stay out. But when it was all said and done, they came in for their pit stop. George Anzaldo was then at the front of the line at the very tail end of the lead lap. He'll get the wave around. He'll go to the back. And when everything is said and done, it is Brian Yazik ahead of Connor Harrington, Adam Blocker, and Joe Hazard.
Yeah, George Lozano, he stuck it tough at the beginning, and but he was able to get his lap back, so he's still on the lead lap, sitting 31st, so he's still in the game. Didn't work out, but it was a good try. And sometimes that's the way you have to go. The only way you can make that position is to not pit. And here we go.
Almost worked out for him. He just got that yellow 1 lap late. Working lap number 54. It is Brian Yazik. Boy, he seems to be comfortable out front. He leads the field down into the first corner. Harrington, Blocker following. Hazard making a good run. Our hard charger is Joshua Chin. He is in 7th place now behind Jason Galvin, who races in 6th.
And there we go, Brian Yazik right down to the white line. Connor Harrington trying to go to the outside. He's going to try to squeeze him down. He's got the lead momentarily, but I think as we go through 1 and 2, it's going to be Brian Yazik as well. We got Joe Hazard in the game. Adam Blocker. Tony Showen doing a good job. Started 8th, but we haven't talked about him. He's up into the pack there. And a little bit of a gap back to Jason Galvin for 6th.
That 2x2 racing made a huge hole in the air for Schoen. He had a head of steam, but nowhere to put it. He had to check up and has to settle for 5th. Chin was able to get around Galvin, look for that purple and white car. Now in 6th, he is coming. He started in 30th. He's on the top side.
Yeah, Connor Harrington had the lead early on, left that door open for Brian Yazik, but Brian Yazik knows how to play this game. He's right along that white line. He is not given the door, and so far he has not been able to be passed around the outside. Nobody's been able to pass around the outside. And it's all about that bottom line. Here comes Joe Hasser. He's sticking it down to the bottom underneath Adam Blocker. He's going to take that 3rd position. Adam Blocker playing it smart, just kind of playing it safe. But Joe Hasser, good job to him, is taking that 3rd spot. Now he's looking to take that 2nd spot, maybe from Connor Harrington.
Good racing up front. We talk about the rookie battle a lot. I can report while Joshua Chin is having a great run, Nathan Lewis has been caught in early attrition. His day is over here in Chicago.
Yeah, it's really going to hurt him in the rookie standings as we're getting close to the end with only 7 rounds after this and all the drops configured. But Joshua Chin has a long ways to go too, but he's done a good job up from 30th to 7th. Just got to play it smart, but we got a pack of cars. We're 2x2 going into turn 1.
Another hard charger we've been watching. You'll see him on the far right of your screen. He's the white car down low, racing in 9th position. It's Damon Martinez. We've been documenting his climb through the field. 29th to 9th, now working on the inside of Tyler Graff. Martinez is really comfortable today. Another mover we haven't talked much about is Jay Brandt back in 10th.
Yeah, I was just going to mention that. He's done a good job as well. We haven't talked about much. Joshua Chin in that purple and white car are easy to spot. He goes to the inside of Joe Hassert, and he's going to try to take that position. I said earlier, Joe Hassert trying to take that spot from Adam Blocker. Adam Blocker able to hold that outside line, keep that 3rd position.
10th place goes back to Brandt, and there's maybe about an 8 or 9 car distance to Mike Rigby. And as I say that, Rigney has closed that gap. Everybody's still in striking distance all the way back to maybe 20th.
Yeah, we were a little stretched out before, but now we're all packed up. Brian Yazik still holding on that white line. Connor Harrington is still trying to take that outside line. I don't think that's going to happen. I think you got to wait till that guy opens up the inside and just take that spot. But just as I say that, Joe Hassert was in 4th. Now he's in 3rd. There's single file. And Brian Yazik opens the door for Connor Harrington just as I say that. And Adam Blocker takes this position for Joe Hassert. We got a new leader.
You remember that as Connor Harrington races out in front, Hassard was back racing alongside, as he is in 4th right now. He was racing alongside George Anzaldo. Hassard now working on the top side around the blue and black car of Adam Blocker. Richie, I get the feeling that you shake these drivers up, roll the dice, and shake up the order, and they would stay where they are. These guys are all competitive. Being out front is the place to be. Chin now has worked his way up into 6th spot.
I think the aero wash is a little heavy here, so being up front, you're able to run the line you want to run. That's why you're able to run that bottom line. But just as we saw Connor Harrington early on give the position to Brian Yazik, Brian did the same thing to Connor. I don't know if that was on purpose, maybe to save some fuel. But we have Connor Harrington, Brian Yazik, Joe Hazard sitting in 3rd. He's got 2 cars behind him. He's trying to block. And right behind him is Jason Galvin, man. Jason Galvin doing a great job up from 13th to 4th. He's taking the position from Adam Blocker. Adam Blocker getting a little swallowed up here as Joshua Chin tries to go around the outside of him.
Right on board with the butt kicker onboard camera. Getting haptically immersed there with Tyler Graff.
We do have a change position. Joe Hassard all the way up to the front. Connor Harrington left the door open. Joe Hassard took the position. We have a new leader of the race. It's going to be Joe Hassard with Connor Harrington sitting 2nd, Jason Galvin sitting 3rd. Joshua Chin was able to get around Adam Blocker sitting in 4th spot. We have another guy trying to go around Adam Blocker, and that is going to be Brian Yazik, who was our former leader. He's fallen all the way back to sixth position, trying to make his way back to the front.
There is one and only one driver in this field that has won here previously in a Lionheart event. It is Big Joe Hazard. Where do we find him now? Where else? Out in front, but he's got Connor Harrington behind him. Let's see if Hazard protects the white line like Reverend Richie Hearn has been preaching. Indeed, he does.
And look at Joshua Chin up from 30th to 3rd. He did a big slide job, went to the inside of turn 3 and slid all the way up to the outside of turn 4, but he's looking to go to the outside of Connor Harrington. And then working that 4th groove is Jason Galvin. That's not going to work for him, I don't think. That's going to open the door for Brian Yazik when he try to get back to that 4th position. And I think he does that. But here comes Josh Chin from 30th, looking for 2nd position. Man, what a charge.
Harrington has been working the middle to the high line, trying to get around Hazard. You might have forgot about Chin, who says, all right, if you're going to pull around with that, I'm going to go underneath you. Now let's see what Joshua does when he's behind Big Joe. That purple car has really been fast. Another driver making a big dive out of Bakersfield, Jason Galvin. Boy, he took it in hotter than a curling iron on Venus, but he couldn't get it wound up. And that loss of momentum is going to cost him some positions now. He gets it red back up again. Yazik not able to get around him. Blocker either. Woo! Jason Galvin.
Yeah.
Hello.
Josh Chin saw that move coming. He chopped that off and made Jason Galvin get out of the gas, and he's lost a couple of spots. So he went for it. Didn't work out. Got a long ways to go, but it was a good try.
Boy, Galvin is flying back there now in 4th position, working the top side, working the bottom side. He's got it going. There's a little bit of a gap now between the front 3 and Galvin back and forth, but there's plenty of toe to get him back up there.
Oh, we do have a spinning on the backstretch there. Looks like we got a yellow flag. It's Tyler Groff spinning out. He's going again, but we do have a yellow flag.
Yellow comes out for Graff. I'm looking at it for the first time with you, live as it happens. Got a little loose.
Yeah, it looked like he just got a little loose off the corner and had to correct, went to the inside. Fortunately, nobody collected him. Here we go, on board. You can see him come off the corner. Ooh, whoa, whoa. Man, that's a lot of work on that steering wheel. He does do a good job not hitting anything, and everybody does a good job not hitting him. But it does cause the yellow flag, and I believe after 22 laps, the last stint, everybody's going to come on in.
Joe Hazard leading the field in, and I believe it'll be everybody of consequence. Again, we might see a few drivers stay out to get a little bit of screen time. Unlike when Hazard stayed out with only 10 laps on his tires. Not sure if we're going to see anybody roll the dice and actually stay out when this is all said and done.
Well, right now we got about 60 laps to... This is not going to be the last stop. Even if we go green, I don't think they can make 60 laps. Joe Hazard off the jacks, out to the lead. Josh Chin, it looks like everybody just got a line of stern.
One of our onboard cameras, of course, was the Butt Kicker onboard camera. I want to talk a little bit about them because they've been a sponsor in this series for many a season. Butt Kicker products add that instant immersion to any game. Unlike a subwoofer that moves air and loses accuracy and force, Butt Kicker products move actual mass, producing a haptic immersion that's powerful and accurate. Feel the low end without making the room loud. Turn down or turn off your subwoofer and still feel all the bass you want. Experience powerful bass even while using headphones or a gaming headset. For sim racers, Butt Kicker products add the missing driver-to-car connection, bringing more realism and immersion to your sessions. Now, I'm going to give you a code that you can use. For more information, go to thebuttkicker.com. You have to use the article, thebuttkicker.com. And here's your promo code, Lion 2020 for how many percents off? 20%. There you go. so many pieces of equipment you can to enhance your sim racing experience.
Well, we have some differing pit strategies here at the moment, which is good for us. Matt Taylor sitting out front. He is not pitted. Along Aaron Morgan and Andrew Kinsella. So those guys started 37th, 38th, and 21st. They have not pitted, and they are sitting first, second, and third. So here we go. Let's play the game. Everybody's going to need one more stop either way, and this might be good or bad. I'm going to go with good.
They're going to top
Oh,
off,
no,
though.
they're coming in. Oh, come on.
Now, Kinsella
Although
may
Andrew
not.
Kinsella's staying out. All right, please. Somebody stay out. Somebody give us some fun.
So we saw what George Enzalda did, and certainly Andrew Kinsella, who sits well up in the points, certainly has the pace to run up front. The problem he's going to have is, well, fuel. He's only going to be able to go another 20 laps, maybe.
Yeah, but if he goes 20 laps, that's going to put him in his fuel window. So
that's right.
Everybody has to pit one more time, no matter what. So if we go green the whole way, that might work out for him. If we get a yellow at the wrong time, it might not. But we're considering where he was running. This is a good risk, I think. You know, he's got some time which he can wait for that yellow flag. So he's got about 20 laps.
Yeah,
which he can wait for it.
He'll be going green, running lap 77. We figure he's got to get to lap, what do we see, like 94 to get there. So that's about, I'm doing math there, 17, 18 laps. I think he'll probably be able to get to his window. One stop from everybody.
Yeah, it's one stop for everybody. So I definitely think it's worth a gamble. Those other two guys, they probably should have just stayed out, but maybe they just don't want to get in the mix and see, become a problem. But Andrew Kinsella is willing to take the risk, and here we go.
It is Andrew Have-A-Catch Kinsella coming off a win at Iowa. He's back out in front. His tires are a little used. His tank is lighter. He's certainly not short on talent. Connor Harrington behind Hassard.
I don't think tires are going to be an issue here this race. We've seen everybody kind of run pretty steady where they want. Here comes Connor Harrington. He got a pretty good draft, and Joe Hassard's going to go with him. Here comes Joshua Chin. But even if he fades back to about 5th or 6th, he's still pretty a good position, better than he was.
Yeah, Kinsella, whoa, he started to drift up. Oh, there is a car drifting. My goodness, up in front, that is Joe Hassard. Kinsella was drifting. Hassard really got off the throttle in front of everybody. They managed to get around him. Yeah, and Joe got in trouble. You know what? I'm looking at it. He made contact with the leader, Harrington. Lost all of his momentum. We're going to watch a long replay on this one. Look at the left front of Hassard and the right rear of Harrington. They touch. That's put Hassard into the wall. He loses all of his momentum. It's going to happen right here. There it is. Now the guys behind him managed to avoid everything, but Richie, it can only last so long. They're coming.
Yeah, it's just too bad that he was running so good. Oh, that guy just washed up. I don't know who that was. Washed up right into him, but probably didn't even know he was going that slow. But yeah, just kind of a storm brewing there from that restart, and we got another yellow.
Boy, when your first and second place car get together, putting one in the wall, and you're only 2 laps into a green flag stint, and you only lose a couple cars, you have dodged a machine gun worth of bullets. We got away lucky on that one.
Let's look who we have in the lead is Josh Chin, starting 30th. Manhandled his way up to the front. Now he's sitting in first, and Brian Yazik's got himself back up to the front lane there in second place. Too early for these guys to pit and take fuel and go the distance, so I think a lot of these guys will just stay out. Maybe Andrew Kinsella might come in. It maybe not. Looks like he's going to stay out.
Give us an opportunity to check in on our spotlighted driver, George Anzaldo, car number 6, racing in 18th position. Got a little attention up front with an alternate pit strategy. That didn't work out for him, but he was able to get it back. He is still on the lead lap. And most of all, so far has been able to avoid the curse of the spotlighted driver.
Yeah, sitting in 18th, not too bad. Started 26th. Still a long ways to go. Did get up front, and we'll see how that strategy works out, but he's running well.
Let's drop back one position to 19th and give a GSRC hello to a new time driver here with Mike Rasmus. I believe that's a name we know from the Retro Series, so he's coming over to race with us now. Welcome to the series.
Yeah.
Also competes in the Sunday Lotus, the Lotus Series on Sundays. That's the Lotus 79s.
Yeah, let's get another shout out. If we're going to go on that pace, Aaron Morgan, he runs in the Retro Series, and this is his first race in the IndyCar Championship, the Lionheart Series, the main series. He's sitting in 27th, starting 38th, but he is a championship contender this year in the Retro Series. I run with him there. Does a very good job, and it looks like he's just trying to keep clean for this first run.
Richard, we've talked about the different type of cars we cover here on GSRC. Of course, the Dallara IR18s and the Lotus 79s that we do in the Retro Series. In your career, though, you were racing back in the time where there wasn't a stock chassis, right? That was back in the days where there were more to choose from, right?
Yeah, there was 5 chassis. They had the Lola, Swift, Reynard, all those guys. There were so many combinations back then, and that's what made the championship great. And it also, you had to roll the dice. We had 2 different tire manufacturers. We had Goodyear and Firestone. We had Mercedes, Ford, Chevrolet, Toyota, Honda. So trying to get all those combinations right was part of the key. But I think that's one thing that IndyCar is missing right now, is just having a little bit of variety. And maybe we'll get there someday, but that's what made the late 90s, the IndyCar Championship, so good, is there's so much competition that it made everybody rise to the top.
I believe I remember reading somewhere that they're looking at maybe some new engine manufacturers coming into the series. That would be nice. Certainly right now is very competitive racing, but it is spec racing, so there is for old timers like myself who grew up with where they could bring anything to the track. They bring a turbine engine to the track. Smokey Unick once brought a sidecar machine, I believe 1964, if you want to do a little research on that one. Didn't do so well. All right. Right now, the car that I'm focusing on is the car driven by the lovely Medina Mendez. She's going to bring it into pit lane. Joshua Chin, we've documented his charge through the field. He's going to be working lap number 83. One more stop for him as he's going to lead the field down into the first corner.
Yeah, if Joshua Chin can just finish right where he's at, or in the first couple of positions, he's going to really lay his stamp on that Rookie of the Year standing. Nathan Lewis exited out of the race, but here comes Brian Yazik. He's going to look for a win tonight, as he's had a little bit of bad luck. He's looking to the outside. Joshua Chin holding that white line. Here comes Jason Galvin. He's had a good race. Started 13th, up to 3rd right now. Right behind him is Connor Harrington. And then we got Damon Martinez, who's done a good job. 29th all the way up to 5th for Connor Harrington. And Adam Blocker hanging right behind them.
The 2 hard chargers that we've told you to watch for is Martinez and Chin, and they are up there now. Probably not enough attention been given to Jason Galvin. The car has been really fast. We've seen him make some runs and just run out of a horizontal track area for him to make a pass. But right now he's racing in 3rd position.
Yeah, Connor Harrington's doing the right thing, hanging onto that white line. He's going to go to the inside of Jason Galvin, take that position. he might take that position from Jason or Brian Yazik, and he does. He's bringing Adam Blocker up with him. So that inside line is where you want to be. The outside line is tough to make happen.
We'll watch up front, but a driver who is just not feeling it today as we look at Blocker on the blue car trying to make a move on the inside. Andrew Kinsella, we saw him out front try to pull a George Anzaldo and stayed out there. He's just off the pace. He's just having a hard time even staying with these guys in the draft as he's fallen now back to 13th position and continues to drop like a pigeon.
Yeah, not very Andrew Kinsella. Like usually he starts bad and works his way to the front. Started bad, worked his way to the front, but now he's just fading a little bit. So he's struggling a little bit with the way we got a car on the wall. It looked like we got a yellow flag. Couldn't see who that was. In turn 4, looks like Mike Rigney.
Looking for a Rigney. Oh, mine. He got a little bit of help from the Candyman. Now, I don't know if Rigney came across on him. The Candyman was trying to squeeze down between. The car on the low side is Stefan Larkamp. Larkamp's in red, and I believe Wardlow just confessed as being their fault.
Yeah, it looks like Wardlow just kind of got a little too close, misjudged that move, and clipped the back of him and set Mike Rigney up into the wall. And now, are we within the window? Are we within
47 to go?
With yellow flags?
Yeah. If I'm one of the guys,
here they come. Some are coming. Chin and Martinez.
Some guys stayed out. Don't know if my dad used to say, son, if you're the prettiest girl at the dance, you don't need to worry about fancy shoes. Which was always confusing because I was a boy, but the point he was trying to tell me was that if you have the fastest car, I don't know if you need to be fancy. I'm not sure if I'm Josh Chin. I need to do anything weird here. I might have waited. I guess you don't want to pit under green.
I think
but you still got to pit under green.
It's a flip of the coin, Unfortunately, He was the leader. He had nobody to follow. I think I was hoping other people would go with him, and they didn't. He's got to partner with Damon Martinez. But, I mean, if we go green the rest of the way, he looks like a hero. But it's going to be, like I say, it's a flip of the coin. We got Brian Yazik and Adam Blocker staying out. Jason Galvin. Let's give a shout-out to Mark Cohn, 24th to 4th. He's sitting up there as well. But, yeah, for Joshua Chin, it was kind of – he was the leader. He had nobody – he had to make the decision on his own, and he made it. And he's got to live with it. We'll see what happens.
So our two hard chargers, Chin and Martinez, both come in. They are also teammates. So they come in. Now, they are going to hope that it stays green because if a yellow comes out, well, let me get this straight here now. Yeah, if a yellow comes out, maybe they stay out, right, and try to milk it all the way, and they cycle up to the front.
Yeah, they'll have to. That's the only way they'll make that work, and then maybe they'll have to save some fuel or not. But their biggest hope is that a yellow does not come out, and they have enough to make it. It's going to be tight. But even if yellow comes out, they'll cycle. The problem they have right now is they're back in the hornet's nest. So if something does happen, they might get caught up. But I guess it's a gamble either way. It's not a bad move. We'll see what happens.
So what we need to do is turn our attention to the Samuel Ryman area of the race and see who's decided to come in and top off. I'm looking at Chris Lanini. So let's assume it stays green and it's a fuel race and nobody can get there. Well, the guy who has the best chance would be Sleepy Lanini, right? Who just came in and topped off.
Yeah, it's pretty close right now on that number. So we have 44 laps to go. They say 40. We got some yellow flags. It's going to be right on the number right now, I think. If we don't get any green flag run or any yellow flags, sorry, it'll be right on the number. So if you can pit, top off, give yourself a little cushion, that might play out as the end.
So we're going to drill down on this a little bit more. If a yellow flag, the guys out front, I guess, have to be pulling for a yellow flag because we know they need to stop. Yazik, Blocker, and those guys. They don't want to stop under green. Chin and Martinez, I guess, are hoping that it stays green all the way, but I don't think they can go the distance. So I think they need a yellow flag so that they can stay out and try to get to the end. And then you got Lanini, who maybe wanted to go green all the way and see if he can nurse 43 laps.
Yeah,
Woo-hoo!
I think even though Chin and Martinez, they're in the draft here. If they can spend a little time saving some fuel, they could probably get close enough to make it if it goes green the whole way. So I think they're probably hoping that there is no yellow, and then they'll just risk it from there.
And see if they can nurse it. That's a long stint. Let's tell you right now, Bart Workman and Chris Lanini, well, they came in and topped off again. They're listening to the broadcast. Dustin Wardlow is also in that mix as well. In fact, let me tell you all the drivers. There's a few of them back there. And, of course, it includes Samuel Ryman as well. Well, it's time to go racing. Let's see what happens. Brian Yazik is underpowered. Leads the field into the first corner. He will have to stop, as will Blocker, as will Galvin. All the way back to 12th position, which would be Scotty Johnson.
And there goes Adam Blocker trying to take the lead for the first time. I would have thought he would try to sit behind him, but I think all these guys realize that they don't have enough, they can't save enough to make it, so they might as well just go for it. It's the guys back there that we talked about earlier that need to save some fuel. But we do have a new leader, Adam Blocker, going right underneath Brian Yazik. Here comes Jason Galvin looking to the inside as well, to take that second position. And right behind them, they got a nice battle with Mark Cohn and Jay Brandt, Brian Carey.
Haven't mentioned much about the Watchmen. Running the high side. Car number 39, Mark Cohn. Up into 4th position now. Started in 24th. Well done.
This race is not over by far. It's really going to come down to whether we see yellow flag or not. Adam Blocker, the number 1 car, taking the lead. He's decided he's going to lead this pack around. Jason Galvin looking to go to the outside. We haven't seen that happen yet. It's all been about the inside passes. I don't think he's going to be able to make it happen. Up in the high side is Brian Yazik. I think I'd be smart. I'd go down and try to go underneath Jason Galvin, but he's going to stay up there. And right behind them, we got Mark Cohn and Jay Brandt fighting for that 4th place.
All these guys are in potential to win. Plus, getting really high up into the wall instead of Larkin, but he keeps it going. Plus, I hope you got your calculators working, because when you do come in for a stop, you're not going to need a full tank of fuel. How little can you take? Maybe jump a few spots on pit lane. Richie, I want to tell you something. Car number 93, Director, can we go there? Joshua Chin. I don't believe Chin is saving. I think he's just going to race his way back up and get back up to the guys he was racing with, and if there's another stop to be made, he'll make it. As he goes through the middle, put the toothpaste back in the jar, going between Larkamp and the car that was on top there was George Anzaldo, I believe. Watch out for Chin.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. You probably realize he can't make it without any serious help, and either way, it's not going to help him out. But he's just going to just bulldoze his way to the front, get to the front, and pit with these guys one more time. I think you're absolutely right. I was just going to mention that he is all the way up to 7th position at the moment. He is not taking it easy one bit.
There he goes. Racing in 7th. So now the guys to watch for are the guys in the very back. Can they sneak it? Can they go? Right now, the leaders of all the guys on the long stint, if I look through here, would be James Krahula, racing in 21st position.
Yeah, I think the guys, we've got 3 different strategies going on. We got the group up front that has not pitted. We have Joshua Chin, who has pitted and realized I can't make it. But you have Damon Martinez sitting back there. He did pit, and he's not really pushing very hard. He's sitting back there with Connor Harrington. I don't know if Connor Harrington's pitting or not. I think these guys might be deciding that, you know what, I might be able to make it. So we do have 3 different kind of strategies going on. It'll be interesting to see what happens.
I would be surprised if Chin or Martinez pitted if there was a yellow flag. I think they probably feel confident that they can get there with the extra laps under yellow. Everybody else is going to have to pit who's up front, and they're racing like they know it right now. Galvin looking to get to the lead.
Yeah, working lap 101, so we have 33 laps to go. Definitely the group up front has to pit. We know that. The question mark is Joshua Chin, and back there are David Martinez and Connor Harrington. Those are the guys to kind of watch for as we get close to the end. Adam Blocker holding on to that white line. He's not giving it up, making Jason Galvin try to go to the outside. If I was Brian Yazik, I'd just tuck right in behind Adam Blocker and take that position, but he's looking to the outside lane, trying to make it 3 wide. And right behind him is Jay Brandt trying to make it 4 wide.
And the action is really up front. They're racing hard, but I feel a little safer about it because I know what these guys can do together. What worries me is when we go back to a driver, let's go to 13th position, car number 44, Connor Harrington. It's just human nature. Harrington's been out in front all race long. Now he finds himself buried back here in 12th position. He's just racing hard, and we're looking at a mistake to be made here. Not that saying that Connor Harrington's going to make a mistake, but he's just got that mindset of, I don't deserve to be back here. This is not fair.
Yeah, when he pitted, he's pitted a little while ago, so I don't know if he hasn't decided what he wants to do. Do I go to the front? Do I stay in the back? We obviously know what Joshua Chin has decided that he's going to the front. And then we got Connor Harrington and David Martinez sitting back there in 10th and 12th position, looking to maybe save some fuel. We don't know what's going to happen, neither do they. But it's going to be interesting. Probably the next 15, 20 laps, we're going to see what happens.
While we were on board with Harrington, you saw George Anzaldo go around Damon Martinez. Anzaldo now, our spotlighted driver, the veteran, making his 148th start. Actually, 149th start, if I do the math right. He's got 148 under his belt. Sitting in 10th position. Just ahead of him, Josh's Chin's charge through the field stalled in 9th position. Let's look at 7th, corrector, car number 27. He's led more laps than anybody here at Chicagoland, and we're talking about Jake Wright, a multi-time champion. Hello, he's now in 6th.
Yeah, basically everybody in front of Joshua Chin, I was looking at, have about 33 to 34 laps since they last pitted. With the yellow flags, let's add about 3 laps to that. So they've got about 10 more laps before they have to pit. Joshua Chin's looking good, and it's going to be him, Martinez, and Harrington. I think we got to watch out for him.
Love that still. That was a great shot as you see him coming at you. We've had a few yellow flags, but attrition really not a factor here today. We still have 29 cars out there.
29 cars out there and 29 cars basically on the lead lap. So everybody who's running is a player in this game at this moment.
We can't forget some guys that might be able to sneak in. James Krahula, Matt Taylor, Aaron Morgan. They have the least amount of, they have the most fuel in their tank. Let me put it that way. If it stays under green, everybody ahead of them, Richie, could run out.
Yeah, could run out, or they got to save fuel. So those guys that pitted, sometimes when you're in the back like that, you have the opportunity to come in and top off and not lose anything, and that's an advantage. Right now, Adam Blocker is sitting on the line going into turn 3. He's got basically a huge challenge from Jason Galvin, trying to go around the outside. Can't quite make it happen. Brian Yazik doesn't know where to go, up high, down low. Nothing's changed up front. But we are getting closer to that witching hour, which is going to be probably in about, I'm going to say, the next 5 to 7 laps. We're going to see what happens with these guys up front.
Richie, one of the new rules is that they have some tools that they're allowed to play with in the cars, but I don't think the fuel mix is one of them, right? So there's really nothing they can do to mechanically save fuel.
He never used the fuel mixture in this car. It doesn't save enough, and you lose too much power. It's all about lifting and coasting. The only tools that really help out is the weight jacker and the bars, although we haven't seen much of a problem with the tire drop-off here with this temp, so I don't think that's going to play a part. if you're in the draft, you can lift and coast and save a little bit of gallons here and there. But I think we're too far apart to make a difference. Either you have to pit or you don't.
Let's bring up the race analysis one more time and show you what they told us. As you can see, the max fuel stint is 40. Now, if you're a fan of Lionheart Racing and GSRC broadcasts, and especially this commentator, you know that I believe they lie to us a little bit. Let's say they can go more than 40. And boy, that could happen. 42?
We're working 40 laps right now. We have had some yellow flags, so it's about, you could probably save about 3 laps of fuel if you're really good at it under yellow. So like I said, about, let's say about 5 laps, we should see some of these guys have to pit. If they go 45, 47 laps, I'll be surprised.
Could be wrong on this one, but if I can read my clipboard here, I believe the guys out front have had the benefit of only 1 yellow flag. So you're looking at Blocker when you want to add a few laps in there. Let's add 4 or 5. He's on lap 41 of his stint right now. There have been
the guys to watch are going to be Martinez and those guys that pitted, Josh Chin, things like that. Those guys hopefully have been saving some fuel. Although I have noticed that Josh Chin was up in 7th. He's all the way back in 15th now. So I don't know if he changed his mind and realized, you know what, I think I can make it. I'm going to back off, save some fuel, go to the back. But he has fallen behind Martinez and Connor Harrington, who were pitted with him. And like I say, we're going to see what's going to happen in the next 3 to 4 laps. We'll see who the real players are.
Richie, something is fishy in Denmark. You may have found something there because he has even fallen behind Damon Martinez. Martinez is on that same strategy as Chin. Martinez is in 9th.
Yeah, I think Josh maybe realized that, you know, I better back off, save some fuel. I think I can make it. The way this race is going, we're going a little deeper into the event without a yellow flag. Everybody's sorting themselves out. Even if they do pit and or we do get a yellow, he'll cycle to the front and he can probably make it. So far, everybody's staying out. Adam Blocker staying out. He's working lap 45 since the last time he pitted. Mark Cohn working lap 46, same with Jay Brandt. So these guys are hanging on for a yellow flag, but it's got to be soon. Got to be pitting soon.
Enos is working lap 30 at 16. He's got to go 46. I told you that they lie to us. I don't know if they lie to us 6 laps worth. We'll see. But every lap that Adam Blocker can stay out there racing is good news for Martinez and Chin, because that's you just got to assume that's one more lap that they can go. Certainly Blocker's not going to pit until it's absolutely needed. He does not want to.
If they have to go 46 laps, Adam Blocker, Galvin, Brian Yazek have all done 46, working on 47. Mark Cohn and Jay Brandt have already done 47. And here comes somebody into the pit.
Jason Galvin, but of course, that 46 was with the benefit of the yellow. Galvin comes in, so Galvin does 47 as he crosses the line on pit lane with a yellow flag. And Zaldo says he's pitting. Yazek now racing in second. He stays out as they go around again.
Yeah, I'm surprised Adam Blocker's been able to stay out that long, him and Brian Yazek. They're not going to be able to make it. They're just hoping for yellow. They cannot make it. And really the players are going to be Harrington, Morgan, Martinez. Josh Chin has dropped way back into the 17th. So, here comes Adam Blocker. Here comes Brian Yazek. Here comes those guys. Now we'll really see who's ready to win.
Expect Damon Martinez. That's my guess of the guy who is going to inherit the lead. Currently in 10th, and that continues to move up as drivers fall off to make their pit stops. Let me correct myself. Can we look at car number 4, the fluorescent yellow car of James Krahula? He might be able to get there. He's one of the drivers that topped off.
Yeah, I think Connor Harrington's going to be able to get there. I think Aaron Morgan, he pitted at the end. He's sitting in the 7th spot. I think he'll be able to get there. And this is his first race in the Lionheart IndyCar Series. Damon Martinez, Joshua Chin, and we'll see what happens here. We're getting down near the wire. We got 10 laps to go.
Samuel Ryman also a name to watch out for. He's got a fuel advantage on a lot of guys. He's racing in 13th right now. Ryman is right behind Damon Martinez.
Yeah, Mike Rasmus is still out in the lead. He pitted 35 laps to go. He might be able to make it. 9 laps, that's 44. We saw those guys go 46, 47. Tony Schowen sitting in second. He pitted 34 laps to go. So he might be a player.
Joshua Chin now in 9th position realizes that while he does have to get to the end, he also has to get to the end ahead of other cars. So he's picked himself back up. He's worked his way around Martinez. Martinez is in 11th.
Yeah, Josh might have went a little too hard too early and burned some fuel, had to save, and now he's sitting back, and now he's got to go race these guys sitting in 9th. Like I say, the big up there, Mike Rasmus, he's hanging in there. He's kind of coasting through the corners, and he might. Oh, yellow flag, yellow flag.
Connor Harrington. Got a Joe Branch and Connor Harrington get together, and this is going to change stuff up. We are not at the point of no return. We will be coming back to go green. Joe Branch ends up in the wall also with because he gets contact from Blocker. Got 2 separate spins going on.
Yeah, it looks like 2 separate spins. They kind of spun on their own.
Yeah. Now Branch ends up, we're looking at the 28, he ends up in the wall. He makes contact with Harrington. I think it was ghost contact. He checks up and then Blocker gets part of him.
Yeah.
And then, as you see this, and then poor Aaron Morgan is trying to go by, and he gets clipped here as he's trying to clear all these guys. There's Harrington on top. Branch pushes up.
Oh, yeah, it looks like a little bit of neck code there, a little ghost contact, and it looks like Adam Blocker ran into the back of him, and he's got a little damage on his front wing, nothing too bad. But, yeah, just kind of one of those racing incidents, nothing to blame on anybody.
So let's set the table. Your leader right now is Tony Schowen. He's been out for 40 laps. Some of those 40 have been under yellow.
Yeah, he'll make it. I think he'll make it. We already saw guys like Adam Blocker in the lead, flat out, going 46, 47 laps. We have 5 laps to go. Tony Schowen is going to make it. Joshua Chin's going to make it. Scott Holmes is going to make it.
Indeed.
The difference is how much are these guys behind going to charge up front with fresh tires. Samuel Ryman, 6th place. He's going to make it. Damon Martinez is going to make it. So really you want to go back to maybe, man, we got to go back pretty far. Adam Blocker, Brian Yazik and Connor Harrington to our guys that were leading earlier. Brian Carey is the last car to lead lap right behind Connor Harrington in 16th. So we have 15 cars on the lead lap. Man, this is going to be tight. But I think all those guys can make it. It's going to be who can hold that white line or not.
The advantage is this might be a little longer yellow than you might think, as the race stewards will have to do a little bit of housekeeping. The car that is directly behind the pace car is your leader, and that is Tony Schowen. But behind him, then comes drivers that are a lap down. They'll get sorted out. Brian Carey, Adam Blocker, Brian Yazik, Jake Wright. You got to go all the way back to 2nd place. We get to Josh Chin. Now, Richie told you that we think Chin can go, and my gosh, he certainly got the pace. So you got Schowen trying to hold off Chin. And how about Scott Holmes in 3rd?
Yeah, right now we have Tony Schowen started 8th, leading. Joshua Chin started 30th, 2nd. Scott Holmes started 32nd, 3rd. Bart Workman started 23rd, 4th. Really, you got to go all the way back to the last car in the lead lap, which is Connor Harrington started first. He's sitting in 15th, and Joe Branch started 6th and 14th. Everybody in front of him, except for Tony Schoen, has started outside the top 14. So this is going to be a good finish for some of these guys. No matter what, we're going to have about 3 laps. We're working 2 laps, maybe 2 laps. And it's going to be a good race for some of these guys. Some of these guys are going to be disappointed, and some of these guys are going to be happy, but it'll be good to see some new faces up front.
We talked about it in the opening. Exuberance and heartbreak, both in the balance. Richie, we haven't seen much of Tony Schoen. We know what Josh Chin can do. Is there anything that Schoen can do on the restart to protect his lead, or is he a sitting duck as like a NASCAR race, or what do you think?
Well, it just depends. Are they going to wave those other guys around, or is there going to be a bunch of cars in between? Honestly,
done it.
Honestly, just hold that white line, make him go around the outside. We have not seen a pass around the outside all night. If he does not leave the door open, I think the win is his. And if he does, Josh will take it. Although at the other end, Josh started 30th in second, knows the point situation. There's no reason to risk it all for one place. But I think if that door's open, he'll take it. But other than that, it is Tony Schoen's race to lose.
13 cars on the lead lap. The lights are still on the pace car. We'll be going green next time around. It will be a 2-lap shootout. We know that Josh Chin is fast. This yellow flag, we're assuming fuel is not an issue anymore. We don't know what Holmes and Workman can do. We haven't seen much of him. Damon Martinez has been competitive in 5th. Is there time for him to get up there? Perhaps.
Let's give a little shout out to Andrew Kinsella, sitting in 7th spot. He was up to the front, then he faded. We talked about how he didn't have it, and he faded to the pack or mid pack, and now he's sitting in 7th spot with 2 laps to go. So yeah, that's a good job on that strategy for him too.
I wanted to say that Kinsella just didn't enjoy the setup, but since he is deeply involved in creating the setup, you would think that wouldn't be the case, but certainly he is not feeling it here today. Maybe the weather was not to his liking. Well, let's focus our attention up front now. Tony Schoen. Look, Mom and Dad, no hands. That's right. Tony Schoen out in front. The car to watch is Joshua Chin. He's fast. He's hungry. The lights are off the pace car. For the final time today, the beautiful Medina Mendes ducks that car down, turning control of the field over to Tony Schoen. Look at Chin laying back. It's a 4-car length lead. It's a 5-car length lead. It's a 6-car length lead. As Schoen pulls away, is he too far away, Richie? Is it make too much of a draft for Chin? Will Chin get a run on him?
I don't think it matters that we haven't seen any pass on the outside. As long as Tony Schoen does not open that door and holds that white line, I think the win is his. He has enough fuel to make it. Just don't give him the opportunity. Make him go around the outside. I don't think it's going to happen. Although he's opening the door right there.
Run. With a head of steam, moving to the outside is Chin. Richie says it can't be done. Tony Schoen says, turn on the reggae music. If you're going to pass me, you're going to do it high. They are side by side, going into 3. 2 corners to go. A little bit of momentum to the outside, but the shorter distance belongs to Schoen on the inside. Out of 4, now it's a drag race. They scoot up in the chair. They lose their Flintstone feet. They almost touch. The win goes to Tony Schoen.
I knew he couldn't make the pass on the outside. They had a little bit of contact, but he went down the shorter way. Nice job to Tony. Good job, man.
You can hear the fans screaming. Tony Schoen started 8th, led when he needed to. Richie, let's look at the final laps.
I knew that he couldn't make that pass around the outside. He had the momentum, but there's just too much distance to be covered, and you can see they get a little contact right there. But Tony Schoen was able to hang on to it. And, hey, man, Joshua Chin did a great job, 30th to 2nd. Really good for the points. And let's get a shout out to Scotty Holmes. We haven't talked about him at all. 36 to third, was able to hold on for that final podium spot.
You didn't have me convinced. I thought Joshua Chin had the run and he was going to get there, but I should listen to my partner. Congratulations to Tony Schowen. The racing is over here in Chicagoland, but you know our broadcast is not. We'll take a short break. We'll come back and run down the entire finishing order, talk to some of the drivers before we put a lock on the gate. Don't go far. You're watching the Global SimRacing Channel, streaming your way on the iRacing Esports Network. Welcome back to the Global SimRacing Channel, coming your way on the iRacing Esports Network. And of course, it is the post-race show, the Fisch Motors 200 at Chicagoland Speedway, and the HyperX post-race show. Lionheart Racing Series is powered by HyperX, and when you're trying to claw your way to the top of the podium, it pays to have an ultra-comfortable, high-quality headset that gives you the audio information you need to grab the checkered flag. From high-performance drams and SSDs, outstanding microphones, accurate mises, responsive keyboards, to their legendary cloud line of gaming headsets, HyperX makes the gaming gear you need to succeed. Casual or pro, no matter your creed, color, or culture, we're all gamers, and HyperX is always ready to game. Hey, got a promo code for you, Lion HRT15 at hyperxgaming.com. Now here's the turn racing finishing order. At the top, it is Tony Schowen. He shows up at the end. He's able to nurse the car home on light fuel. He gets the win. Joshua Chin, who we saw drop back a little bit, apparently got into some contact with George Anzaldo, fell way back in the field, was able to race his way back up to the front, but unfortunately was not able to get around Schowen for the win. He'll have to settle for seconds. Scott Holmes, a very, 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 two more berries, very, very quiet third place. Bart Workman in fourth. How about newcomer Mike Rasmus in the fifth position there? Damon Martinez, we watched him all night. He ends up in sixth. Andrew Kinsella in seventh. Matt Taylor and James Krahula go eighth and ninth. Rounding out your top 10, it's the Candyman, Dustin Wardlow. Richie?
Yeah, coming home in 11th will be Adam Frazier, starting 27th. Good job. Chris Lanini coming home 12th. Samuel Ryman in 13th. That's the last car in the lead lap. First car lap down will be Jake Wright. Brian Carey in 15th. Brian Yazik, man, he had it up there. Once again, bad luck comes to his side, but he had a good car. He finishes 16th. Mark Cohn was up there at the end, 17th. Scotty Johnson and 18th. Adam Blocker, wow, he was running up front, got caught out by that pit strategy a little bit. It's going to hurt him a little bit, down to 19th, and coming home 20th in Tyler Graff.
Yeah, with Sage Karam having problems, a lot of missed opportunities for the guys in the points to pick up some. The next two drivers are the last cars one lap down, and the blackjack position and double duck spot go to Stefan Lauerkamp and Ron Hacker. Then everybody else is 2 or more laps down. Brandon Lipkeman, Aaron Morgan, Jay Brandt in 25th, Joe Branch, Connor Harrington, who we saw up front all night. He has to settle for 27th. Again, another missed opportunity. The Bakersfield boy, Jason Galvin, was fast, but he'll have to settle for 28th. George Anzaldo in 29th. And then in 30th, it is Mike Rigney. Richie?
Coming out 31st at 57 laps down would be Joe Hasser. He was running up front early on. Michael Goodman started up front, started second, actually. He started on the front row, didn't have a good night, finished 32nd. 33rd would be Christopher. Justin Weaver, not a good night for him either, 34th. Ken Hacker, 35th. Chris Fowler, 36th. Nathan Lewis, one of our Rookie of the Year contenders, is going to be a big part in those standings, finishes 37th. And Brian Greenlee comes home in 38th. And coming home 39th will be Sage Karam. Not a good night for him either.
I have the honor of talking to our race winner. Let's get him into the booth here. It's going to be Tony Schowen. There's 2 questions I want to ask Tony about. It's going to be one, strategy, and then the ending couple laps when he had to hold off Joshua Chin. Tony, congratulations, baby.
Thanks, man. Thanks a lot.
Let's go to the pit strategy. You decided to stay out there, and then I guess you got lucky on the yellow flags, right? Did you need the yellow at the end?
I have no idea what just happened. There was no strategy. I got went in for a pit, and the iRacing didn't give me fuel, so I went to the back, and then I was just in road rage mode from that point on to go forward, because I was in the back and I was in the top 10 the whole time. So I just, like I said, road rage mode, go to the front, and then all of a sudden I'm in the lead. So yeah.
Tony, I'm searching through the stats right now. I know you've raced a lot with us. It's hard for me to believe that. Could this can't not be your first win?
First win in the big boy races.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, I got a retro.
Congratulations.
Thanks, man. I got a retro win a couple years ago, and then actually today I was looking at those stats, and I'm like, good God, what a loser. And then yeah, I have no clue what happened. There was no strategy at all other than just dodging bullets and coming from the back there at the end.
Let's go to the last lap. I was a little bit worried. My partner was not. Richie knew that if you protected the inside, you had it. I was worried when Josh was so far back and he had a run on you. Were you worried?
No, I ran quite a few laps in the practices, and if you were on the bottom, you were golden, even with the run, because you could hold it down there, and they had the long way around the track. So for whatever reason, the caution or the green didn't go until the second to last lap instead of the third to last. And I think that saved me too, because it was just a matter of getting a good start and then staying out of his draft.
Sometimes our interviews sum up the race in a phrase. If you were on the bottom, you were golden. Tony Schowen, congratulations on the first win. Way to go. Good luck, man.
Thanks, guys.
Mom and dad are watching? Is that what I'm hearing?
They're YouTubers.
Hey, what are their names? What are their
Don and Judy in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Judy?
Yep, Don and Judy. Yep.
Don and Judy's baby boy. Tony Schowen picks up the win. Congratulations, Tony. That's fun. That is fun. And I believe Don and Judy are going to get a lot of mentions in the races to follow. Richie, who you got?
Yeah, I think we got our second place finisher here, and Josh Chin. Josh, you there?
I am. Headset works this time.
Oh, man. Hey, man, awesome job. I know a win was right there for you, but starting 30th all the way up to second. We're going to cover a couple of things. One thing, you made a hell of a charge at the beginning to get up into that top 10, and then you had the strategy just right. But I guess you had a little incident with when George was coming out of the pits and kind of threw you back. We didn't see it, so we thought you were trying to save some fuel, but then you came on back up to the front. So give us a little rundown.
Yeah, qualifying was a mess. All three of us missed it pretty bad. Me, Damon, and Sage. I don't know if there's something we just didn't know about, or we just all missed our laps. But starting back there in the 30s. But I knew from Monday that I could roll the bottom pretty well, and I relayed that to Damon and Sage. And unfortunately, Sage couldn't make it long enough in the race to really make it work. But he was coming up through with us, leading the charge. And the pit strategy was interesting. I decided for both of us to come in on that second to last caution, just to top it off, because I think we needed 6 gallons at the end, and it got us 4 gallons. So, 2-gallon window to kind of try and work with. So we were just going. And then after a little bit running in traffic, we saw what the fuel number was, and we saw that we could make it. So we started backing off. And right around that time, right ahead of me, Connor got into George in 3 and 4. Just ran up into him. So I had to take avoiding action. And then later on, Damon got the wall, so he fell back a little bit. But I think we were set for a solid 1-2 before that last caution came out.
No, yeah, we thought maybe you were trying to save some fuel, like you rushed up to the front and then maybe you had to save some fuel. Definitely the right strategy. Unfortunately, I knew that if Tony held that bottom line, there's probably no way to get around him. It was really hard to pass on the outside tonight.
Yeah, it was definitely possible in 1 and 2. I think it was probably the better way of getting around people. 3 and 4, the bottom was by far the best. If you could roll down there, a lot of people couldn't know, and even on the restarts, most people were just running up in the second, third groove, missing the bottom. That was where I made up most of my spots.
Well, either way, with a second place finish, starting 30th, you got to be super happy. And with Sage Karam having a problem in the race, and also Nathan Lewis in that rookie of the point standing, that's tight. He didn't finish so well. This is really going to open up that gap for you.
Yeah, it's definitely good for the points. I think Andrew was the highest finishing of the guys ahead of me, and that was in 7th. And I think he had some laps led. I don't know if he had, I don't know who had most laps led, so that'll be another point to swing the direction. But came back 100 back of the next guy ahead, so hopefully cut that margin down by half to a quarter, and keep going at it for the last, 8-9 races of the season. I got 5 tracks that I feel like I can do pretty good, and 3 or 4 other ones that, if I learn and pick up the same way I did here, it will be a pretty good way to finish out the season. A lot better than the way the season started.
So you've definitely been coming on strong with the win and all these top 10s and top 5s. So definitely going to make us interesting for us to call. Great job. Anybody you'd like to thank?
Got to give a shout out to Sage and Damon. Just working through that first stint, we were working really well and kind of picking our way through. Thanks to Jason Brophy. He was helping us with the fuel strategy and kind of calling us through and coaching us how quick we could go, how slow, when to back it off. And thanks to everyone, Team Chimera, Team Talent, and Craig Setup Shop.
Awesome, man. Well, we always love that purple and white car as well. Thanks for joining us. Great job on the second place finish, and we'll see you at the next one.
Appreciate it, guys.
There you have it. A great pair of interviews, especially Tony Schown, who was able to get to the Sim Experience victory lane for the very first time here in the Lionheart IndyCar Series. To help you get to victory lane, check out Sim Experience AccuForce steering system. It has the most advanced tuning feature on the market. The AccuForce Direct Drive is second only to the real thing. See the entire Sim Experience line of products at simexperience.com. We have some other people to thank as well. How about the Lionheart IndyCar Series title sponsor, First Medical Equipment? They've been the source of medical supplies and equipment in the Burlington, Iowa area for years because of their superior commitment to provide the absolute best in product quality and customer service. HyperX, whatever you play, however you play, HyperX knows we're all gamers. Use promo code LION, HRT15 at hyperxgaming.com. And of course, Sim Experience that I just talked about, second only to the real thing. And we mentioned the butt kicker. Love butt kicker. For more realism and immersion to the session, use promo code LION2020 at thebuttkicker.com. To contact any of the sponsors you see on the screen, go to lionheartracing.com. The original music on every GSRC broadcast comes courtesy of Juno Lawn. See the screen to how to contact information for her. On screen now are just some of the upcoming broadcasts. So some of the companies, equipment, and software that we use to make this broadcast possible. The Lionheart Series returns October 7th for the round 14. The HyperX Grand Prix of Phillip Island. GSRC and ISN will be there to bring you all the action. We hope you join us. If you'd like more information about GSRC, including a complete list of future broadcasts, you can find it all at globalsimracingchannel.com. We're also on Twitter. Facebook at Global Sim Racing Channel, Twitter at GSR Channel, Instagram at GSRC_Graham. I remember sharing these closing credits with Richie Hearn. What happened to that? If you're not already a GSRC YouTube subscriber, head over to the GSRC YouTube page and hit that button to subscribe. I miss Richie more and more as I continue on. Looking for a unique gift? Go check out the GSRC merchandise store at gsrc.storeenvy.com. And sadly, the Joe Peak Halloween masks are out of stock, but there's still lots of other things to choose from. Finally, on behalf of the crew, that would be Richie, Sean, and Dougie, I'd like to thank all of you for watching, as it was Tony Shawan who gets the win here in the Fisch Motors 200 at Chicagoland Speedway. With that said, finally, we're off to have fun storming the castle. So until next time, peace, good health, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.